Hey, welcome back to your Caribou Data Science channel, Buckeye Nation. Today is September the 20, October the 7th, 2020. It's time for your daily COVID-19 analysis. I do a small favor to ask before we get started here. Well, first of all, a big shout out to the three people who watched in Ohio watched this video yesterday. I appreciate all three of those views. I know you have other things to do with your time, so thanks so much for taking a few moments of your time to keep up to date on the COVID-19 situation in Ohio. Okay, so thanks to those three people. Now, before we get started, of course, you know the first part of it, right? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, click on the share button, share the video on Facebook and Twitter today. Secondly, if you click on the description below, you're going to see two links. If you're interested in data analytics and R programming, then you want to then join me tonight at 8 p.m. on Twitch for Dave's Data Analytics live stream. Okay. Secondly, I'm trying to start up a Twitter channel. So to appreciate if you click on that second link and follow me on Twitter, okay? So let's get started here. Let's get started, okay? So anyway, I also did something a little different here. Well, first, let's remind ourselves of some of the shenanigans that the governor's office is up to in terms of counts. Back in February this year, February 2021, the governor's office came out and said, oops, we undercounted COVID-19 deaths for the fourth quarter of 2020 by close to 4,000. But rather than going back and doing the right thing and correcting the numbers and then reissuing the numbers for 2020, he added the numbers on to February 11th, 12th, and 13th. Now, in the past, I've been doing an average number for those 3 dates here. Okay, but today, just for the fun of it, I'm going to use what's called a median. Okay, a median is the middle value in a vector of numbers. It's not the average of all the numbers; it's the middle value, right? So if you have numbers 1 to 9, okay, then the middle number is going to be the fourth number, right? So it's going to divide. What it does, it divides the number string in half. So 50% of numbers are below, and 50% of numbers are above that number. Okay. Okay. So that's median. So uh, median, I just mentioned, is what's called a what's the word here I'm looking for? Shoot, a robust statistic. Okay. But why it's called robust is because it isn't as affected by the range of data within it. In this case, it isn't as affected as much as say an average would be for deaths over the entire data set. Okay, so we'll just see what happens. We may go back to the mean, but it won't actually make that much difference. Let's just see exactly what happens here. Median is one of those numbers that probably don't have that much meaning to a lot of people because it's not the actual average numbers for that day. Okay, so let's come back up here now. All right, and the other thing that we got to keep in mind about the governor's office is in March they went from reporting deaths 7 days a week to 5 days a week, and of course if that's not enough, it's not always it's not only the same 5 days, but they're still counting cases 7 days a week. Interesting, huh? Okay. So this is the numbers for February 11th, 12th, and 13th. They're all numbers. These include the numbers from the fourth quarter, the missing numbers from the fourth quarter of 2020. Now, if we take this and we change this to a median number, oh, that's not very good. That's not very good. That's why I don't use medians very much because for what we're doing, it's not the best. It's not the best measure of the numbers. Okay. But it was a good thought on my part. But this not a very good thought. Okay, and you'll see the difference here with the means. Okay, the big resignation. Um, oops, EAN. Okay, EAN. There we go. Mean date, mean default, mean div time. That's interesting, isn't it? You know, the R programming language, the basic installation, it has hundreds of functions, which most people like me will never use. You just saw some there with the mean function. There's a mean diff time, so the mean diff time will give you the average trip duration between two periods of time, and so forth and so on. It's just like, unless you're really deep into statistics, you'll probably never even come close to using any of these more lesser known functions. Okay. Of course, the other question is this whole question of the Great Resignation. 10 million people are going to quit their jobs. Uh, 10% of the workforce, 10% of the workforce is going to resign. All these numbers. My question is, how do people come up? How did it? No, how did they come up with that number? What makes them think that all these people are going to resign this year? And of course, the other question is, how many of these people would have resigned this year, even who was COVID-19? COVID-19, of course, is the culprit here because we rerouted our lives. We realized that life is more important than working for a limited and supporting your family. Hey, I'm going to quit my job. Well, I'm just not sure that's true. But one thing we do see in Ohio is, my friends, we see help wanted signs. Okay, I saw two help wanted signs in Reynoldsburg where I live that I have never seen in all the years I lived in, and I've lived in Reynoldsburg since kindergarten. Okay, a help wanted sign on the post office. Okay, and a help wanted billboard for DLC, the Defense Logistics Center. It used to be called DCSC. The sign for DLC said, "Help wanted, 17 to $24 an hour." You're telling me that no one in Central Ohio wants to work for 17 to $24 an hour. I also saw a brief blurb that said that Amazon was raising its wages to $18 an hour. What does that say about America? That people don't want to work for $18 an hour? You know, anyway, I'll leave that question for you to consider. Okay. Of course, I am retired, so my situation is a little different. Again, these are the raw numbers for February 11th, 12th, and 13th, and this is what it looks like for February, the average deaths for these 3 days for each day. Okay. So we come down here now. This is the Ohio COVID-19 deaths with the 7-day moving average. Now, what's interesting is if he had went back and placed the numbers here, the numbers for 2020 would have looked better because the decline would have been longer. Okay, think about it. The decline would have been longer. All right. But anyway, you can see this long declining pattern down to mid-July, and now deaths are starting to increase. So the question is, how many of these people here were vaccinated? This is deaths by week, no big surprise. It just comes all the way down. Ignore this right here because I don't actually think there's probably actually isn't any data there. Okay. Although all the numbers could have fallen back down to 200 deaths for the week. Okay, it's possible. Um, but again, this long declining pattern. Okay, increasing pattern. Now these are cases. Again, these spikes here kind of throw the numbers off because it reduces it undermines these lower numbers here. But you can still see a long declining pattern in cases to mid-July. Then cases increased, and now cases appear to be decreasing. But the question is, how many of these people here this year in Ohio were vaccinated? This is just deaths using a different type of method. You notice all these gaps here now. Okay, why are all these gaps here? Okay, and the gap here. Okay, is in March when he switched to the 7-day reporting, the 5-day reporting method for deaths. Not cases. It's still counting cases 7 days a week. Okay, And this is cases by week. No big surprise. We expected this. We've seen this before. Okay, Buckeye Nation, that does conclude your report for today. Hey, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, the like button, and click on the share button. Share the video on Facebook and Twitter. And again, click on the description below. If you're interested in data analytics and our programming, by all means, come and join me tonight at 8 p.m. on Twitch. Also, I'm trying to start a Twitter channel, so I'd appreciate if you click on that Twitter link and follow me on Twitter today. Thanks so much, Buckeye Nation. We'll see you tomorrow with an updated report.